All those that are need refuah shlema, that's for whom we're learning today.
Amen.
Okay?
Amen.
Okay, we're back in, we're on the top of Kuf Kuf Hey, 125a, still dealing now with issues pertaining to Shabbat, and of course, particularly to handling items as to whether or not they are to be considered muktzah, okay, or mukhan. Okay, so I'm going to start from the top of the Amud, okay? Amar Bar Hamdurai, Amar Shmuel. Says Bar Hamdurai in the name of Shmuel, Kromiot. These are shreds, okay? Shel machatzelet, of a reed mat, right? Mutar l'taltalan b'Shabbat. It's permitted to handle them on Shabbat. My Tama, what's the reasoning, asks the Gemara. Amar Rabba, says Rabba, Bar Hamdurai Isbarali. Bar Hamdurai explained it to me. Machatzelet gufa lamai chazia. A reed mat itself. What is it suitable for? L'ksui be afra. In other words, for covering or dirt, right? Haninami chaz l'kisui baho tinofet. Morning room. Okay, we just started. So the issue was, why would these shreds of reed mats be acceptable to be handled on Shabbat? The same way that the mat itself is able to be put down on Shabbat to cover the earth, cover dirt, so even these shreds could be used to cover any kind of filth. And so that's the point where we're at. Okay, we're about 5-6 lines down. Okay, Amar Rabbi Zera, says Rabbi Zera Amar Rav, in the name of Rav. We now get another issue. Again, fragments, pieces. Shirei prosmiot. These are fragments or parts of a cloak or a talus, perhaps, or something like that. Asur l'taltalan b'Shabbat. Okay, he says it's forbidden to handle them on Shabbat. Amar Abai, b'mat lo ni'ot, she'ein b'hem shlosha al shlosha. As a clarification, he's saying this is really referring to rags. That's the status of these shmatas, so to speak, that are less than 3 by 3, okay? Because that implies that they are not really a valid piece of garment. Okay, they can't be used, it would appear. Okay, the lo chazian, lo la'aniyim, v'lo la'ashirim, because they are not suitable either for poor people or for rich people. In other words, people would not use them, let's say, to as a patch on a garment. Okay, on a torn garment. New piece in our Braita, in our text. Tanu Rabbanan. Okay, again, fragments, pieces. Shivrei Tanur Yashan. The old fragments from an old oven. Okay. Harain Kichol Hakelim Hanitalim B'Chatzer. Divrei Rabbi Meir. These are considered like any other kind of utensils that can be handled in a courtyard, according to the view of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ein nitlin. Rabbi Yehuda says they are not to be handled. Okay? Continuing now on this issue. Okay, Rabbi Yossi, Eid Rabbi Yossi, Mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, al Shivrei Tanur Yashan, Shenitlin b'Shabbat, that the Rabbi Yossi gives testimony, okay? In other words, he identifies a statement of Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov that fragments from an old oven may be handled on Shabbat. Not only that, va'al kisui, or kisui vav, she'eino tzarich beit yad. And even on handles, even on lids that don't have handles. B'mai kemiflage, what are they arguing about? Amar Abaye. Abaye says as follows. Ba'osin me'ein melacha. When they're able to perform a similar kind of work, the same nature of work. Ve'ein osin me'ein melachtan. Okay? But not necessarily the same kind of work that they originally or formerly did. Kemiflage. That's what they're arguing about. Va'azda Rabbi Yehuda l'ta'ameh. And Rabbi Yehuda followed his own view, right? V'Rabbi Meir l'ta'ameh. And Rabbi Meir followed his own view. Now the Gemara tells us, Matkif la Rava. Rava challenged this. Ihachi adamiflage b'shivrei tanur. If it's such that they're going to be arguing over the fragments of an old oven, liflagu b'shivrei kelim ba'alma. Why don't they argue about the fragments of utensils in general? Ela amar Rava. Rather, Rava gives a different explanation. Okay, what is their argument about? B'shivrei dahai tanur kemiflage. That they're arguing about the fragments of of the following oven. The Tanan, as taught elsewhere in a Mishnah, natnu al pi habor, or al pi hadot, okay, that they placed an oven on the mouth of a pit, or on the mouth of a cistern, right? V'natan sham evan, and they placed a stone there to keep it in place. In other words, so it wouldn't fall or wouldn't, move. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, imesik milamata, if they light it, kindle it from underneath. V'hu suk milamala, right? And if they light it, kindle it from above, tameh, then it would be tameh. Ve'im lav tahor. And if not, okay, otherwise it would be tahor. The chachamim omrim, and the sages, however, say, ho'il v'husak mikol makom. The sages are saying that regardless in any way that it is heated, whether from above or below, tameh, it is tameh. Ubamai kemiflage. And what are they arguing about here? Bahaikra, in the explanation of the following pasuk. Tanur v'kirayim yutatz tmeim hen utmeim yihiyu lachem. Okay, the pasuk, whether it's an oven or a kind of stove, it shall be torn down, they are unclean, and shall be unclean unto you. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Savar, Michusar Netitza, Tameh. Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that without destroying or smashing the oven, okay, it becomes tameh. She'en mechusar. Why? Because then it is not considered to be torn down, right? Nityatza. But if he tore it down and demolished, tahor, then it would be tahor. The Rabbanan Savrei, Tmeim yihiyu lachem mikol makom. And the rabbis understood that the end of the pasuk, where it says, it shall be unclean unto you, means in all cases, right? Barabanan nami. Okay, so the question is, though, the pasuk also said, right, yutatz, right? Hakatuv yutatz, that it said it should be just torn down, which would seem to imply, right, what, right? It would seem to imply that that the changing of its status by tearing it down would change, tearing it down would change its status. Okay? Hahu le'idach gisa. Okay, so one might argue to the opposite direction, namely, desalka da'atachamina, because it's possible, I might say the following, kevan dechavre ba'ara. I might have thought to say that since it's somehow attached to the earth, kigufa da'ara dami, that it's like part of the earth, therefore it couldn't become tameh. Kamash Malan comes to teach us that that's not the case. Ve'idach, and the other one, namely Rabbi Yehuda, Nami Haktiv, isn't it also written in the pasuk, Tmeim Yihiu Lachem, that it shall be impure for you? Hahi Kidarav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. And in this case, Rav Yehuda is holding like Shmuel, okay, like in the name of Shmuel. The Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, Machloket Behesek Rishon. Their argument really deals with the first lighting, the first kindling, okay, of this oven. In other words, the one, after one made the oven, okay, one would need to heat it up in order for the earthenware, okay, to solidify, to be tightened. So that would be very similar, one might argue, to makeh b'patish, that it's like finishing the process of making the oven, and therefore one would be over, okay? Aval behesek sheni, but in the second lighting, afilu talui b'tzavar gamal, even if the oven was transportable by hanging it around the neck of a camel, okay? The implication here being, again, that, okay, it would still be unclean, okay, if because the fragments, okay, depend on the views of Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, okay, and it has nothing to do with whether it was the first kindling, first lighting or not. Okay. Amar Ula, says Ula. Behesek Rishon l'Rabbanan, and says Ula as follows, right? And regarding this first lighting, kindling according to the rabbis, as we said, even afilu talui b'tzavar gamal, even if it was hung around the neck of the animal, it would still be tummy. Now, Mat Kifla Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi challenged this, and he said, Ihachi, adamiflage b'shivrei tanur, if they're arguing about, again, the fragments of an oven, liflago b'tanur gufa, let them argue about the oven itself. Hashta tanur gufa, the Rabbi Yehuda, lo havi mana. Here, okay, however, in this case, Rabbi Yehuda could argue that the oven is not really a utensil. Okay? Shivrav mibai. So if you're talking about its fragments, what do you even have to ask about that? Ela Amar Rav Ashi, says Rav Ashi, La'olam Kida Amran Me'ikara. No, this is as we discussed at the outset. Uba'oseh Ma'aseh Tafka. And it's a situation, okay, where basically, okay, that the fragments can still be utilized, okay, in some manner, because you have tiles from the fragment, earthenware tiles, and you could be using them for another purpose. For example, you could use it to roast something on, as a board to roast something on, or as or some other means of cooking. Okay. The Rabbi Meir, Lidvarav, the Rabbi Yehuda, Kama. And Rabbi Meir was speaking according to the view of Rabbi Yehuda. L'didi afilu ba'osin ma'an malacha. Namely, according to his view, according to that view, so long it was as it was valid for some kind of work. Ela l'didach. But according to your view, ode li miha t'kahai gavna malachtohu. Okay? According to your view, it has to nevertheless be some kind of purpose, work, for which it was originally intended. Rabbi Yehuda lo dami. But Rabbi Yehuda, okay, says it's not the same. Right? Hatam, there, in that case, hesiku mibifnim. Why? Because there they would heat it from within, okay, from underneath, which would be the normal pattern. Hacha, hesiku mibachutz. But here, okay, using the fragment, you're heating it from outside, okay? The fire, you just have the item on the fragment and the heat comes from outside. Hatam mu'umad, there the oven is standing, okay, even regardless of where it's on a pit or a cistern, it's standing in place. Hacha lo lav mu'umad, and here it's not standing on its own. Okay? Now, we come back to a new piece from our text. Okay? He'id Rabbi Yossi Mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov al Shivrei Tanur Yashan Shenitlin b'Shabbat. Okay, this Breita, where it said that Rabbi Yossi testified in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, not only regarding the fragments of an old oven that can be handled on Shabbat, but on the lids, okay, all right, even though she'eno tzarich b'yed yad, even though they may not have a handle. Amar Ravina. So Ravina here is saying, Kiman metaltalinan ha'idna kisui de tenori b'mata mechasia. Okay, so Ravina is telling us that that's similar to what's being done when we handle items nowadays vis-a-vis the oven lids in the town of Mata Mechasia. Okay, De'en lehen beit achiza, where they don't have handles on them. Okay, Keman. Okay, according to whom is that? Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. That's according to this statement by Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. So even if it's let's call it a flat lid without a handle on it, okay, it still could be handled on Shabbat. Okay, new Mishnah, right? Again, we're dealing with kinds of examples. Okay. Matnitin. Here's our Mishnah telling us. Ha'evan shebekiruyuha. Okay, a stone that is placed in a gourd shell or a pumpkin shell. Okay? What are we talking about? Is the fact that if you have a well and you were going to lower let's say an item to draw water from the well, and let's say they did not have a bucket, well, they could use cleaned out gourds or cleaned out pumpkins, okay, for that purpose. The problem is, though, that the gourd or the pumpkin is so light that it wouldn't sink below the water level in order to gain any water from the well or the cistern. So they had to put a stone inside it in order to weigh it down so it would be heavy enough to go below the water level and then be able to pull up water. Okay? So as we continue now and understand it in that context, im mimel'in ba ve'ena nofelet, okay? So if they then, when they pull the gourd up, from the well, if the stone, okay, doesn't fall out, memalin ba, okay, they may use it to fill up water on Shabbat, okay? Ve'im lav, and if not, ein memalin ba. We're not able to use that gourd in place of, let's say, a bucket. Okay, let's go on. How about another similar situation? Okay, zimora, shehik shura betapid. Okay, now we've got don't even have a rope, and we don't have a bucket. We don't have a gourd. We simply have a pitcher. And to this pitcher, we're tying the branch of a vine, okay, and using that to lower it or raise it. Memalin b'Shabbat, says our Mishnah. One can draw water from it on Shabbat. Pakak hachalon. Okay, now we'll give another example, a different case. We here now have a window shutter, and we have let's call it a stopper for a window shutter or a skylight, something like that. Okay, can you handle that? Right? Now the question may be, is it attached to the window or the skylight or not attached? Rabbi Eliezer Omer, says Rabbi Eliezer, Omer, Bisman Shahu Kashur V'Talui, at the time when it's connected, when it's tied, okay, as fastened and suspended and hand down, okay, pokakinbo, we may use it as a stopper to close the window or the skylight. Ve'im lav, and if not, and pokakinbo, we're not able to use it, says Rabbi Eliezer. The Chachamim Omrim, and the sages say, Ben kachu ben kach, pokakinbo. But regardless, okay, the sages say we can close the skylight or the window shutter in either case. Okay, Gemara. Now, Tznan Hatam, right? Says the Gemara, we learned elsewhere in the following. Okay, Evan Sha'al Pi HaChavit. Okay, if a stone is in the opening of a cask, okay, Mate al tzeda v'hino felet. Okay, simply lean it, tilt it on a side, and it can fall off. Right? Amar Rava. Okay, says Rava. Amar Rav Ami. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, that said in the authority of Rabbi Yochanan. Lo shanu ela b'shocheach. They only taught this, okay, in a situation where the person forgot the stone was there. Ava b'meniach, okay, but if he places it there, ne'aseh basis l'davar ha'asur, okay, then this chavit, this cask, serves as a foundation, as a base for something that is prohibited. Rav Yosef, Amar Rav Asi, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Again, it says the Braita. Lo shanu ela b'shocheach. Again, they said this only if a person forgot the stone was there. Ava b'mayniach. But if they intended to put it there, ne'asa kisui lechavit. It becomes a covering for the cask, like a stopper. Okay? So what happens? Amar Rava. Rava says as follows. Modvinan a shma'itan. Okay? Says Rava, okay, a objection is raised against this teaching. Okay? We have a contradiction. Ha'evan shebekiru uha. In regards to one time, places it says, if the stone is placed, okay, in the shell, okay, im mimalin bav eina nofelet, okay, if it's placed in, okay, there in the gourd, for example, and it doesn't, okay, right, if we fill it and it doesn't fall out, memalim ba, we're able to use it on Shabbat and fill it. Velohi, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Hatam kevanda hadaka. Okay, why? Okay, right? Because we're saying shavya dufan. Okay, why? It doesn't seem to become fastened because it's like a side of the pitcher. Okay, it's like part of the vessel. Okay, Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef, umotavinan ashma'ita. Okay, and Rav Yosef says, okay, also we have, sorry about the phone, okay, it says Rav Yosef, again, this seems to challenge what we've learned. In love, ein memalim ba. It says, if not, we can't fill it. Velohi, and that's also not the case. Hatam kevam delo hadaka. There, since it's not really firmly attached to it, batule batla. Maybe we just consider it null and void, and it's nothing there. But my kemiflige, what then are they arguing about? Mar savinan, mar savar ba'inan ma'aseh. Okay, one master, namely Rav Ami, holds that a clear act of work or labor has to occur. Umar savar lo ba'inan ma'aseh. And the other master, okay, Rav Asi, holds that an act of labor or work is not required. V'azdu l'ta'amayu. And they each went according to their views. Now, what happened? The Chi'ata Rav Dimi, when Rav Dimi came, right? Amar Rav Chanina, v'amri la Amar Rabbi Zera Amar Rabbi Chanina. He said in the name of Rabbi Chanina, and others say it was Rabbi Zera who said it in the name of Rabbi Chanina. Pam echad halach Rebbe lemakom echad. A situation where one time Rebbe went to a certain place, right? Umatza nidbach shel avanim, and he found there a row or a pile of stones. Va'amar letalmidav tza'u v'cheshvu kedei sheneshev aleihem lemachar. He says, go out and focus, think mentally on the fact that we should designate this pile or row of stones for tomorrow, okay, as a place for Shabbat, in other words, for a place where we can sit for our lessons. Velo hitzrichan Rebbe lema'aseh. But Rebbe did not require there any kind of physical act on their part. V'Rabbi Yochanan Amar, hitzrichan Rebbe lema'aseh. And Rabbi Yochanan seems to be saying that Rebbe did require a physical act. Okay? Mai Amar Laho, namely, what could Rebbe then have said to them? Rebbe Ami Amar, says Rebbe Ami, Sa'u v'lamdun. He says, go out and arrange them in an order. Amar Laho. Rabbi Asi Amar, Sa'u v'shifshifum. And Rabbi Asi says, go out and scrape the stones free of any mortar to prepare them for us to sit down on. Okay? So in each case, they could argue, no, Rebbe does require a physical act to make the object ready for Shabbat and not muktzah. Amar lahu. So he said to them, Itmar, if it was said, okay, Rabbi Yossi ben Shaul Amar, okay, namely the following, okay, that Rabbi Yossi ben Shaul said, okay, Amar So'ar shel korot hava, okay, that there was really not a pile of stones, but it was a stack of beams. That was there. The Rabbi Yochanan ben Shaul Amar, he says, Gushush shel sfina hava. No, that it was a sounding pole. Okay, that was what was there. Okay. Man de Amar Gashush, the one who says that it was a sounding pole, Kol Shekain Soar. Certainly, okay, it would be a stack of beams. Uman de Amar Soar, and the one who said that it was a stack of beams, Aval Gashush, but a sounding pole, Kapid Ale. He said that was not the case. It should be cut. It should be shortened. Okay? In other words, some physical act, therefore, was still going to be needed. Okay? And in this case, you couldn't use it, okay, for holding the pitcher to dip it into the well. Okay, let's go on. Zmora shehi kshura v'chule. We said, what about the issue of the vine branch tied to the pitcher? Kshura in, lo kshura lo. If it's tied to the branch, yes, but not tied, no. Lema matnitin de lo karabi Shimon ben Gamliel. That would mean that we would have to say that our Mishnah is not according to the view of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. The Tanya, why? Because it was taught in a Braita, Charayot shel dekel shegadran la'etzim, that if you had branches of a palm tree that had been cut or harvested initially for the purpose of firewood, v'nimlach aleihen liyeshiva, and afterwards changed one's mind and instead decided to use these branches for another purpose, okay? Sitting on them, for example, okay? Tzarich likshor. He requires, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, that you have to tie them. In other words, there has to be a physical act to make them usable for Shabbat. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, Omer, he says, Ein tzarich likshor. But Rabbi Shimon Gamliel disagrees with that Braita and says, no, you don't have to tie them. You don't really need a physical act. Amar Rav Sheshet, says Rav Sheshet, afilu tema Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. You might even say in that situation, you could include the view of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel that a physical act is not needed. Hacha b'ma yaskina. What then are we talking about? B'mechuberet ba'aver. Okay, that we're talking about a situation, okay, that okay, that it is still attached, okay, to its origin. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Ihachi, in other words, still attached to the plant, okay, or the tree. Ihachi kamish tamesh b'mechubar lekarka. If that's the case, aren't you utilizing something that's still attached to the ground? Okay, lemata mishlosha. Maybe it's attached lower than 3, right? So that's why it's considered to the ground. Rav Ashi Amar, afilu tema betlusha. Says Rav Ashi, even if you're going to say that it is just unattached, Gezerah shema yaktum. Okay, where concern is lest he actually chop it off. Okay, and therefore the thought was sufficient and not the act wouldn't be required. Okay, pakak hachalon v'chulei. Okay, let's come now back to that stopper for closing a skylight or a window shutter. Amar Rava, says Rava bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Hakol modim she'eno sin ohel ar'ai b'tchila b'yom tov. Everybody is in agreement, he says, Rabbi bar Chana in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, that we can't make for the very first time a temporary dwelling on Yom Tov. Okay? Ve'ein tzarich lomar b'Shabbat. And that certainly is applicable in terms of Shabbat. Lo nechlaku ela lahosif. They differ only in terms of adding, okay, to an existing building. Sherebbi Eliezer Omer, ein mosifin b'Yom Tov. That Rabbi Eliezer claims that one cannot add on a festival while it's Shabbat. Okay, right? Ve'ein tzarich lomar b'Shabbat, and we certainly don't have to say in the Shabbat. V'chachamim omrim mosifin b'Shabbat, ve'ein tzarich lomar b'Yom Tov. And the sages say that we may add on Shabbat while we don't have to raise it. If that would certainly be the case on Yom Tov. New piece, says the Gemara. The Chachamim omrim bein kach uvein kach pokakin bo, that the sages said that regardless, okay, whether the stopper to close the window shutter or the skylight was attached or not attached, okay, you could still use it. Ma'i bein kach uvein kach. What do we mean? Okay, regardless of this case or that case. Amar Rabbi Abba, says Rabbi Abba, Amar Rav Kahana. In the name of Rav Kahana, just go over it a short bit. Bein kashur, bein she'eno kashur, v'shehu mitukan. Okay, he said whether it's fastened or not, okay, provided that it is prepared. Okay, in other words, when we say prepared, in other words, it has been designated for that use and to be usable on Shabbat. Okay? And we'll stop right there, okay, and pick up tomorrow. Right?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a great
Right, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good
Okay,
day.
take care. Stay well,
You
everybody.
will.
Thank you. Hope it's a fast day.
We go now.
Have a safe day. Erwin.